Coming up on today's episode of ArtHouse. An exhibition at the Art Affinity Gallery, Lagos. From Nigeria, we move to the UAE, where after being holed up at a hotel in Dubai, this vicious artist finally unveils his most profound project yet. It's an incredible work of art, I tell you, so you won't want to miss all those details after our Wordsmith segment. A warm welcome to the show. I'm Melinda Akinlami.
I'm But Just a Woman by Chichi Alinta is our wordsmith for this week. Who am I to be among the leadership awards? I'm but just a woman. My taste of womanhood breathes strength. I cry for her. I crawl into her. I climb up to her. I run into her. I fall off her. I fight for her. I stand for her to become her. What is it that I have not heard? To see, to speak, and feel for her, because I am but just a woman. For I have died for her, for I have been buried for her, and always alive for her. Where is that place I can't be for her? Is to bow for men, because I am her. For I am her who's strong in words of action, to motivate moods into motion.
I noticed that our wordsmith and works of art are still celebrating women. So we're doing you a favor, at least doing us a favor, honoring women in this month of March. Now let's begin with this exhibition titled Coalesce by two creatives at the Art Affinity Gallery in Lagos.
It's an exhibition by two contemporary artists, Damilola Marcus and Daniel Oshundaru, at the Affinity Art Gallery, Lagos.
This exhibition is basically asking the question, what memories does isolation trigger? Coming off from the global pandemic and still being in the global pandemic, what memories has this whole period triggered in the lives of artists that are exhibiting in this particular exhibition? So Coalesce is basically saying that the artists are coming together to exhibit works that answer that question, and to basically mirror the transience of time and how time is a construct in our society as well.
Some of the images are realistic, figurative, or rendered in abstract expressionism, but they touch on subjects that affect human life.
My work is, you can call it realism, but it isn't really. We call it realism with some pop influence, with some figurative abstraction. Yeah, pretty much it. But for the most part, of course, there's realism in it. You can see the objects, you can see what they are. But I'm not afraid of ambiguity. I'm not afraid of brushstrokes that are careless and do whatever they want to do on the canvas. I really embrace my medium, which is all paint. Whatever it can do on the canvas, I allow it to do. If it wants to mix up in weird different ways, I allow it to happen. So.
As the title connotes, coalesce is to unite, blend or fuse, as these artists look at the human mind and psychological issues that have been on the front burner lately, like depression, isolation, social distancing, words that are common in this COVID-19 pandemic era.
The work here is basically memories. In many ways, I thought about how isolation can be a trigger for the sort of memories that you had, some of the most innocent times where we had people around, where we had love and warmth and celebration, even activity around growing up. So I think personally those are the memories that this period we've been in, isolation, lockdown, and all of that stuff has triggered in me. So I'm hoping that in some way people who look at the work can connect to it in that way. And if there are other ways they can connect to the work, that's fine too.
Photograph has to do with growing up and lived experiences, which is following the theme. And behind my eyes is a shock value art, more like putting Renaissance with contemporary art. That's putting contemporary, which is the sneakers, with Renaissance.
We have the works of Daniel Pengrapher Shundaro, who is a realist. So he paints realism, he paints along the lines of the realism thoughts, and his works are very out of the ordinary. So he's painting from his ideas and his thinkings and his emotions. And Damilola Onosobo Marcus is painting from her memories as a child and painting from family photographs and images, and also the emotions that have, family, sisterhood, rest and isolation as well.
The exhibition is the isolation, rest, and we're exploring all of these concepts, right? So in many ways, like I said, my work is memories that are triggered by having to be alone. For me, a lot of childhood memories are triggered because, those were the times that I was innocent and oblivious of social interaction. But I had to be in those spaces, right? I had to be in spaces where I had to interact with people, adults, ideas, and things in the most innocent way. And that's what being isolated, quote unquote isolated in the pandemic has brought in me. And that's why I painted that.
The conversation sparked by the artists using their different techniques is familiar to the audience who are here to view this exhibition.
The uniqueness of my work basically is the way I do these figures. I make the figures abstract, then I make the background realism. So I'm trying to sell the duality between realism and abstraction, infusing also figurative expression, different types of composition, not planned, but executed well.
I wouldn't say that it's the same thing as things I've seen before. And in many ways, I wouldn't say that it's unfamiliar as well. There are painters who paint this sort of subject matter. There are painters who also have deliberately free brush strokes and embrace their medium in the way that I do as well. But collectively, I feel the way I combine it, I have my own unique take. Like I said, I paint to relax, and the relaxation influences how I interact with the canvas as well. So, and I feel like I have a unique perspective in the subjects that I paint as well. So, yeah, you can call it unique, but I wouldn't really bank on that because that's not even my goal.
The artists are using this show to emphasize the need for people to treasure what money cannot buy: love and family.
Unity is what we need now, especially in our country, and it starts from the family, which is the foundation of the society, and women play a crucial role in this regard.
Let's begin with this work by Lydia and Edwin. It's done with fabric and beads on canvas. It's called Good Woman. Then to this work, which Kel Charles Lewis says he has done for his queens, is part of his Queen series. It's called Elsa Majibo. It's done with acrylic, graphite and charcoal on paper. Then Raji Folorunshaw calls this one Omalicha. He says he's celebrating women with this sculptural piece. Then Once Upon a Time is a watercolor on paper work by Elisha Godfred. Devotion is an acrylic on oil on canvas done by Joseph Gobi. Then Gifts and Pleasure is a pencil, charcoal, newspaper and oil color paint on paperwork done by Johnson David. Passionate Model 14 is an oil on chipboard paperwork done by Chris Ogebo. Then Jeremiah Ajagbe has The Passage of Time. It's a series as well. It's done with ball pen. Then Solitude is an oil on canvas work done by Tony Owere. Then Joseph Ejiro has this one, which he calls Memories. It's done with acrylic on canvas. And that concludes the works of art you sent in this week. We'll be seeing other works done by other artists still celebrating women on the next episode of ArtHouse.
I'm sure Joseph Ejiro's work there was a trip down memory lane for some people. Well done, team. When ArtHouse returns, we enjoy this massive work of art that also shows the strength in unity. Join us again.
The artist is a direct reflection of God's creative attributes. We may, however, choose to reflect this attribute differently.
This painting, called the world's largest art on canvas, is inspired by the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on children. It has been unveiled by this artist in Dubai.
6,300 litres of paint, 1,065 brushes being stroked on canvas for 20 hours a day in 7 months. That's all it took for British artist Sasha Jaffrey to create his work of art called...
I'm going to tell you about this piece. It's called The Journey of Humanity. Part 1, this section. This is our Creator's first gift, the soul of the earth. This represents the energy rising up from the soul of the earth and coming up into this section. This is our Creator's second gift, nature. This will have the mountains, the rivers, the trees, the lakes. Over here, you can see the trees rising up here, and you can see the lakes forming, and here will be the ocean. And around here will be a huge lake with the mountains rising up out of the lakes. Our next greatest gift, section 3, the arrival of humanity. This shows the journey of the child with the love and nurture of the mother and the guidance and protection of the father. Then we move into the 4th section, the solar system, the dark purple skies, the twinkling stars, the planets revolving. And this section reminds us how small we are in the universe.
Sasha found arts during his time at Eton College in the UK after teachers struggled with managing his dyslexia.
I was very frustrated, I felt disconnected, I was like a real, very frustrated child and very upset, I guess. And the only thing that made sense to me was painting. So that's where I went. It's where the world made sense, you know, color, shape, form, mark. There were no rules. You could layer things on top of things. You could turn a mistake into something beautiful. Everything that made sense in the world made sense through art for me. And I guess that's the beginning of my journey.
Measuring about 20 square feet, this image now holds 2 Guinness World Record titles for the largest art canvas and biggest social, artistic, philanthropic project in history.
The painting's called The Journey of Humanity. And you've got to imagine it standing upright like this, okay? As you would normally look at a painting. The thing is with this, it's so big and it has to be on the floor, you can only really see it from way up there looking down. So you've got to visualize, okay, this is on the wall and I'm looking at it. It's split into 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, going all the way across like that. The first section, what you see here, is the soul of the earth. This represents the soul of the earth. So when you look at it, you see the energy of creation rising up. You feel that energy. Here, when you did physics at school as a little kid, you have that coil, the copper wire coil that teaches you about electricity. This is the coil here. And then that's the energy of creation. That's the beginning of everything coming up, rising up from the soul of the earth. Everything we're about, the essence of creation and existence. That is represented here by the soul of the earth.
Journey of Humanity captures Sasha's attempt to remind the world that humanity and not technology is the future. And to drive this message, he asked children across the globe to send in their COVID-inspired art pieces. Many of them, now embedded into this masterpiece, are from Nigerians.
So I just want to say thank you to the people of Africa, and particularly the people of Nigeria, who are so close to my heart, for supporting this project from the beginning, for being with us, for sending in all your artwork, the children of Africa and the children of Nigeria. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And together, let's change the world and let's make it a better place for our children. We all know about the destruction and the desecration of the planet. We know how our planet is dying. But what we haven't realized is how humanity is dying. The essence that makes us human is dying. Our future is not technology. Our future is human. And we need to focus everything we've got on what makes us human and how to evolve that and keep that alive. And humanity is based on 2 things. It's based on empathy and love. The understanding of our fellow man and woman, the understanding of universal consciousness, that we are all one soul, one world, one planet. And that is so important. The only place I knew the answers would be lie in our children. They're the closest thing to creation. They're the thing, sadly, we move away from. And It's no coincidence that we start our life as a child and we end our life as a child. That's no coincidence. But why do we waste 80 years, 90 years of our life? Why do we waste 80 to 90 years of our life as an adult? Why aren't we keeping the child inside us alive forever? That would solve a lot of problems.
For the unveiling, Emirati royalty, leadership and art lovers gather in the same ballroom where it was created to appreciate the historic piece. This ceremony marks the beginning of another phase of the project, which will now be auctioned to hopefully raise $30 million for children most affected by COVID-19.
Wow, need I say more? You know that if there's something awesome happening in the art world, you can be sure to find it here on ArtHouse.
Next week on ArtHouse. A sip and paint party showing the colours of the 5 uprising artists is what's taking place at this space in Lagos. Enjoy these and more on our next episode. Your ArtHouse experience doesn't have to end when the show is not on television. Interact with us on our various social media platforms. See any edition of ArtHouse on our website or YouTube page. Join our very interactive Facebook page by joining the group on ArtHouse on Channels. We're everywhere.
I appreciate you for taking time to cross continents with us on this episode and look forward to more artifacts next time. But you can keep up by going online, view, like, and share any of our social media videos so more people can enjoy the beauty of the arts. I'm Melinda Akinlami, encouraging you to stay safe and keep being creative.